Good morning, or nearly afternoon, I think. I'm getting later and later. Today, I want to just keep the momentum going. I've had such positive feedback from people with regards to the OGs and the stories and making OGs and diaries, etc., etc. So I just want to keep that momentum going because I think we're off on our journey with OGs. And so today, I was going to read you a story that just again makes the point of how stories can just organically grow from the simplest of things. So to show you this, the best thing I can do is tell you about something I found on the beach a few years back. Right, can you see that? Okay, this rocked up on our beach when I was walking the dog. Actually, when I was walking, so it was only a couple of years ago, and when I was looking at the news as to when they first started appearing, they were talking back to 2014 and 2015. But it was only a couple of years ago because we've only had the dogs sort of just under 3 years. So this boat, actually bring it back, I want to see it constantly. So this boat rocked up on our beach, and it's in such perfect condition, and it started to trigger something in my mind, thinking, I'm sure I've heard about there was a freight boat or something that had capsized, etc. And yes, it was back in 1997, a Japanese liner full of Lego pieces, either big pieces like this pirate ship, or smaller pieces. So basically, the whole of the Lego accessories and full parts like that were just thrown into the water. And let's face it, it's plastic. It's just not gonna decompose, break down, or anything. It was just going to find its way, and they've reported it turning up all over Cornwall, Wales, and so forth. And it's told them an awful lot scientifically about the currents and obviously things about how the longevity of plastic as well. Because things have turned up in pristine condition. And it was quite a pleasing thing when I thought it, but when you think about the story, it's quite a tragedy, really, because you're thinking, we know now how many problems are causing our coastal organisms and the whole coastline because of the plastic that's turning up there from our own just wasting, putting things down and not putting them in the bins and such, or throwing things away and not being responsible for our plastic waste. So it was a bit of a bittersweet finding, but at the same time, when I saw it, I genuinely thought, oh my goodness, the Ogs need to know about this. So me and the dog ran back to the house, and I went and got 2 of the Og characters, which I'm going to introduce you to now, and brought the camera down, and I started to snap some photos of them with it because I just wanted to feel the story, see where the story went. I hadn't got an idea. I just wanted to know how it was going to unfold. So the 2 Ogs that I brought down were, you probably met this one before, Kenneth. This is Kenneth the Og. He's a bit of an action Og. Look at his posing. And this one is Tom. Tom's got a very mole-like look about him. He's the one that talks a lot about geothermal things in stories, because he's the one that encourages the Ogs to dig down when they're cold, so that they can live on the beach, but deep down underneath, so that they can reach a warmer spot. So they're so knowledgeable, they're so helpful. So Kenneth and Tom came down to the beach with me, and I had some fabulous photos, which again you'll probably find, they're not on my Facebook, they'll be, that's the dog, found somebody to bark at. The pictures of them just, I don't know, what do you two do? They're just inquisitive, always looking, and I put, like I say, they were just inquisitively looking at this boat, thinking, well, what's this? And that's when the ideas began. So I'm going to read you a story called The Misunderstood Pirate. And because I'm reading it with these 2 characters in mind, I'm going to put on my headdresses. I made headdresses for when I tell the stories. This is a bit. So this is Kenneth's headdress. I don't know where to put it that way. Yeah, you can see his little face. And for Tom, it's a little waistcoat. So I'm going to put the waistcoat on. The children in the schools when I'm working, they would wear these when we're telling stories. I've got them for all the Ogs, so there we go. And I shall begin the story of The Misunderstood Pirate. The pebbles chattered as the sea rolled them in. The air blew gently as if trying to sing. The Ogs were pottering like an Og likes to do, when a dot far on the horizon suddenly grew. Within a fraction of a second, the dot came ashore on a wave far bigger than they had seen before. They tentatively approached the dot with great care. They looked to each other and then simply stared. "It's a boat," said the Oggs as they took a closer look, "or a ship for a pirate with one arm and a hook." They all looked around, but no one was inside. Then looked out to sea. "Oh dear, perhaps they are stuck in the tide." There's some pictures of the Oggs. These are the pictures I was referring to, looking at their boat. The Oggs could see nothing bobbing up and down, so they walked along the beach, each holding a frown. "What are we looking for?" said one Ogg to another. "A pirate, of course, so stay close together." The Oggs walked in convoy, looking all around, chatting excitedly at everything they found. "Could this be his boat?" said one of the Oggs. They were pointing towards the most enormous of logs. "Look at that log that we found on the beach on our travels. Enormous, looks like a big boot with that lovely heel. Another pair of boots like that." "Oh dear," they exclaimed, "we're in trouble here. He's a giant pirate with huge legs, we fear." The Oggs turned, hearing the children as they sang. They rushed back to the ship as their alarm bells rang. "Children, be careful. There's a giant pirate. We need to hide. This is his ship. It came in on the tide." The Oggs pointed. "His leg is right over there." The children looked at each other, then the Oggs, and then just stared. "Oh, Oggs, how could a giant fit in this toy boat? That leg is too big, too heavy. How would it float?" The Oggs were saddened by their poor imagination. "Trust you funny folk to rely on a silly calculation. Perhaps a giant pirate carries his boat across the sea." That got the children thinking where the rest of him might be. "We know what pirates look like," the children declare. "We have studied their history and we got really scared." "Pirates are dangerous and dirty," they declare. "They have tatty clothes and long straggly hair. They stole and fought and lived out at sea. Their ship was their home and they lived for free." The Oggs listened as the children recounted their tales. They were reminded that pirates could also be females. "And they dressed in frilly shirts and wore lots of jewels. They took great pride in breaking all the rules." On finding a good spot, they all gathered round. "Children, we will tell you about a pirate that we once found. The pirate we met was extraordinarily sad. He was fed up with everyone thinking he was bad. Being a pirate is not what he thought. He behaved really badly, like he thought he ought. He did not want to steal or do anything bad. He didn't want to upset folk and leave them sad. He was desperately lonely and thought nobody cared. Folk took one look and he knew they were scared. Who could blame folk for walking away or for looking down, not knowing what to say? He wanted friends who would teach him to be good. He was prepared to change, so we did what we could." The Oggs knew what was needed to achieve just that. They noticed an old chair, so the pirate was sat. And we found this old chair just along the beach. Look at it, it's got no arms, just about holding together. So we sat the pirate down on that. We showed him what folks saw when looking at him. He decided to shave, and we gave his hair a trim. He knew that folk saw what they wanted to see, and may not see what the pirate wanted to be. "So what did you do?" the children asked. "Well, we thought really hard and then set a challenging task. We took the pirate for a very long walk, and whilst we walked, we had a very good talk. We took the pirate to meet some friends. We walked him up hills, through rivers and round lots of bends. We introduced him to Ogg wisdom on the beach shore. We proved to him that things can always become more. We met the green penguin and a family of walrus. If he opened his imagination, we could change how folks saw us. At first he thought that we were being absurd. Then he suddenly noticed sticks that looked just like a bird. So first I'm going to show you the green penguin and the family of walrus that we showed him. Now these are just pieces of wood that we've got on the beach down here. They're incredible. And when I saw them, I just thought, oh my God, it's a green penguin. So we had to take a picture, had to become part of the story. And again, those bits of wood there, these are just stumps of old wood that has been worn away and worked by the sea. They are absolutely beautiful. So the pirate was starting to see what they were on about. And here is what he pointed out. Look at all these old bits of wood. Looks like a big bird with long legs that's running across the pebbles. Well, or lying down. Okay? He saw what we saw and told us we were so clever, so we carried on walking, looking for new friends together. Listening intently, something caused the children to turn. The look on their faces caused the Oggs great concern. What have you seen? All the Oggs asked. Oh, nothing we saw, but what we heard as we passed. They all were looking at the gorse bush, all prickly and yellow. The children were convinced it had just said, hello. So that's what they were looking at. You see that when you're lucky enough to get out in the countryside at the moment? Beautiful yellow flower on a gorse bush, but oh, it's so prickly, it hurts. The Oggs and the children approached tiny steps at a time, but before they had reached it, they had had another sign. This time it was the long grasses catching the breeze. Both Oggs and children heard the long grasses achoo sneeze. Whew! The children were laughing. We have found our pirate hiding in bits. His hair is the grass, his body is gorse, his legs are sticks. They all let their minds wander, running wild and free. If everyone did it, they'd be surprised what they see. There are so many wonders on show for everyone, and the more that we look will lead to more fun. Spotting the something in sticks, rocks and features, all trying to be noticed and trying to teach us. Children, it's no different for each of you. You are not one-dimensional. You are at least two. You can be what you want and always can change. Enjoy who you are, and if unhappy, rearrange. The pirate may once have been misunderstood, but now he is happy and found doing lots of good. Keep looking around you and noticing things. Follow your imagination and see what it brings. With love, the Oggs. Okay, so that's another story for you to get excited about, hopefully about things that you've found on your travels around. And with your new Ogg, like I say, I haven't bought, Leslie's having a nap. I made her bed, he, I've done it again. That's the thing, didn't know whether she was a he or a he, so we thought it doesn't matter. And so she's in her bed, and so today it's been Kenneth and Tom doing the storytelling. And I'd like you to let me know of any stories that you've started to write. All it took was a Lego boat to rock up on our beach. So who knows? Every day, I bet something just rocks up through your letterbox. A letter. But before you open it, do you know what's in it? Who knows? You really, really don't, do you? And perhaps Mum might be a bit cleverer and she might think, it's got on the top. But just imagine inside it could be something really, really interesting that you and your Ogg could discover. Okay, so happy storytelling, and we shall see you again shortly to tell you more stories and to put out some more storylines, because I still haven't shown you that key, the key that I'm going to use maybe tomorrow. I keep meaning to do it each day and then I forget, so I don't want to make it too long, but I have a key that we're going to use to write a story. Okay, so see you soon. Bye bye.